comes with them. There will be billions of people that will die, I think, going forward, unfortunately. So there's many of us that are going to survive, and the world will be an unbelievably better place. So we want everybody to be in our group. I'd like to see the whole world be in our group, but unfortunately that's not going to be something that's going to go forward, I believe.
So what do you think is the reason you say billions are going to die? Are you talking about conflict or because of the kill shot? Because now at the 5-year mark, we're now seeing them start to stack bodies like firewood from this kill shot. Is that what you think is going to cause us to lose that many people? Or is there
this is multiple things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. I'm glad we can talk about the kill shot stuff at this point. There was times where we were just trying so hard to reveal that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, 70% of Americans, which is lower than a lot of places. There's a lot of places around the world, and especially in Europe, where almost everybody got the shot. So what we're seeing right now, like you're talking about, bodies getting stacked. We're hearing from basically the people that morgues and so forth, not morgues, but the funeral homes. The funeral home directors and so forth, we're hearing from them. I have another group that I listen to, and they're revealing on an unbelievable level of the numbers of deaths that are coming in. And we've talked about this. We talked about this. Please don't get the shot because you're going to die from it, and a lot of people are now. I talk about this quite often in my shows, and I'll see people in the chat. They're saying that large numbers of their family are gone from the shot. So I remember we were talking about it, and everybody's like, "What are you talking about?" For maybe 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, even people just weren't aware of it. But now everybody's becoming aware of it. So yeah, it'll be from the shot, and what we're seeing right now is, from that shot, we're seeing more complications where it's basically come out with new, problems. And they knew that was going to happen from the shot, that the shot would mutate within people. And now this year we're having unbelievable numbers of, people that are sick and unfortunately dying again. So, and they're not publishing that like they did during the COVID shot. Most of the COVID was just a lie. As we know, and we reported all the way back then, and still people don't understand that. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of people that were dying all the way back then, but not on the level that they are now. And that's being massively underreported, covered up and so forth. So I think there's going to be earth change events. God is in control now. And we're going to see, unfortunately, some earth change events where we'll have massive earthquake, tsunamis, and volcanic activity. Last year was like a record. This year will be, I believe, on another level again. And then the next year will be on another level again, on top of what we're going to see this year. So, stand by. Listen to your intuition. Tap into God, and you're going to be directed where to be, how to stay safe. A lot of people are leaving the big cities. The big cities, like we've talked about, are going to be, death centers. There's going to be a lot of people going to die in some of these big blue cities, like we're seeing in Minneapolis. I think President Trump may get control of that, but there's a lot of other big cities that are a lot bigger and have a lot more demonic control. Mm-hmm. We've said this for a long time. The demon rats, and they're demonically controlled. Political organization. Mm-hmm.
They are. What we're seeing now, the fraud that we're seeing now, Mike, is the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely.
I think. Again, we learned through the Q drops it was going to be drip, 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 flood, right? And many people made these, assessments earlier on that we were like in the middle of the flood. I'm like, man, we haven't even started the dripping yet at a pace where you see it picking up, where it becomes a daily thing. It's like you almost can't keep the same news narrative because something that's so sensational was just superseded by the next big thing. Yeah. And I like what you said about trust your intuition. Use your God connection, your intuition to know where to be, when to be. Again, this was always about, and this is where they captured us. This was always about us doing all of it for ourselves, right? And that's what Christ was trying to tell us. Yet they fabricated his message and got us to believe that we're to sit back and wait. We're supposed to put everything. Yeah, I think, look, I understand from the Christian side, but born again Christian, studied divinity 20 years. I get that. I'm just going to worship my Lord and Savior. I'm going to wait for him to do it. He's going to save me. We've heard this my whole life, and the depravity of the planet has just continued to skyrocket. If that worked with billions of Christians doing that, what do you think? God's just sacrificing us like cannon fodder to teach us a lesson? This was always about us becoming Christ-like with our actions, intentions, thoughts, words, deeds. Everything was to be exactly what Christ was here. But the greatest capture operation was for them to make us believe we're to sit back and worship. Does our Creator need? I know I'm challenging the Christian narrative, and I still sit in church and I hear this, and I don't sit there looking at it like, I can't believe you just said that. It's what we're programmed to believe and think. And it comes from a good place. It comes from a high vibration when they continue to talk about things we've been taught in the churches from the Bible that simply are not true. That doesn't mean they're stupid or bad people. They still have the high vibration Christ consciousness, and they have that belief, right? They're following with good intent.
Yeah.
So that I get. But the reality is, my Creator doesn't need worshiped. He doesn't have a self-image or an ego problem. Worshiping my Creator is to become all that I was born to be, myself, right? Doing the things myself. And so you nail it with earth-based language. Use your intuition. You have it. So anyways, if there is a rapture that's happening and underway, I believe the rapture is a good thing. It's a harvest. It's not to be scary like they expected. But if there was a scary part, that rapture, part of the rapture is the kill shot. Those people that are not connected to source, not connected with the Christ consciousness, they're going to operate in fear, and they're going to believe the people they know have been lying to them their whole lives. Okay, give me a shot. That to me is rapture. That to me is a harvest of the lower frequency density beings that need to be moved into another evolution. I could be wrong about that, but that's what makes sense to me.
No, I completely agree. It's fun to have these shows together because we talk about this stuff and we've talked about this stuff, and then we get together and we're like, we're both singing off the same sheet of music. We come at it from different perspectives sometimes, but we're very similar. So it validates for our followers, when we get together and when we get our other little brother,
our unruly little brother, Nino,
little brother, when he comes in too, we all see that, or everyone sees that, we're all, singing off the same sheet of music to a great extent. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that the rapture is underway. It is absolutely happening. It will pick up pace, just like the collapse of the beast system. They're one and the same, as far as like revealing, and then you can accept the reveal, or you can stay with the demonic side. And some people just don't realize they are with that side, which is frustrating. That's why we have been so vigilant and very aggressive, very aggressive with getting this information out so people can awaken. We've awakened. We know what's coming. We know that there's going to be tribulation and hardship, but that leads. I can tell you, going through SEAL training, those hardships and tribulations that I went through for SEAL training led to something much, much greater for me. And then I had other tribulations after that, and then other tribulations after that. And so when I see the tribulations coming, I don't look at them with fear and anxiety. I look at them as an opportunity for growth and for moving to another level again. So that's what everyone should look at this in that respect. Many people don't like change at all, and they will cling to the old system, and they will die with that system because they don't want to change. And that is part of the human consciousness, experiment that people come here to experience, and they either evolve or they, get another cycle. and that's it is what it is. Some just decide, okay, I've reached a point. I'm just going to cycle out and I'll join everybody when they get to the next level. And that's another aspect as well. I see some very, very advanced people, very beautiful souls. Maybe they've just reached a extended point in their lives, or maybe they've done what they came here to do, and they're going to wait, I believe, for the next evolution upwards. And that's another thing too. So I'm not knocking on people that are not going to go forward, because I think a lot of us will. A lot of people were here at this time frame, probably more than any time in the history of Earth, the billion range of people here, because they want to experience this evolution that conscious of humanity consciousness and so forth is happening. Some of them know that they're not going to evolve, but they wanted to be here to see it, experience it, and then maybe take it to the next cycle, which is heroic, in that sense. So yes, it's not like we're like chosen, special, or anything like that. We have evolved. I think there's been a lot of people that probably were chosen and didn't make the grade because they got trapped into the wrong thinking and hooked into the demonic realm, and because there's a lot of good things on that side, and it pulls people in that direction. They don't realize they're being pulled in that direction. They get trapped over there, and then they're going to get recycled. So that's all it is. It's not a big. I look at it in a bigger picture like that, from 10,000 foot view. It doesn't hurt me or upset me that some people aren't going forward, or some people decide to be extremely evil. It is just part of a cycle, and it's part of an awakening process.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting how you frame it. I think in supporting that, I see it the same way. And what I would say to those people who, let's say you're at the lower end of the third density consciousness, you need to be the highest end of the third density to transition with the planet as it's moved into its fourth density or fifth dimension, some people call it. But if your consciousness isn't high enough, you can't survive the transition. You can't survive the frequency, which means you recycle. Now, let me tell you this. So you're sitting here saying, oh, you guys are going to make it. We're not. Let me help you understand something that's absolutely factual. Mike and I, in the many thousands of lives we've lived like this in the past, we've been at the edge too, where we were going to hopefully transition to the next density or dimension with the rest of the people that did. We didn't make it. So, and that's the whole thing. And this is where religion's captured us. We think it's a one and done. I learned this when I was young in business. I heard this from my business mentors. Life's not a dress rehearsal. This is the show. Whatever you're going to do, you got to do it right now, right here in this life. We all believed it, like get the job done now, become successful, whatever. Bullshit. This is a dress rehearsal. Every one of them are dress rehearsals. But through dress rehearsal, you're practicing, getting a better understanding, living life, hopefully learning enough so you can take your soul to that ascension level. So don't beat yourself up. Do the absolute best you can. And it all comes down to this for me. How do you treat your fellow man, every single one of them? Except the MTPs, of course. Yeah, but you still have to have that respect. It's how you're treating God's other children. Like every day, waitress, janitor, you name it. Hispanic selling flowers at the intersection, walking through doors. That will define your vibration and your ascension level more than anything on earth, how you treat other humans. So anyways, so that's to say that here's a solution to help you ascend. And if it's not your cycle, don't worry. Because I can assure you, once we're in the fifth density, Mike and I, others are going to be like, this sucks. It's so beautiful here. Nothing but peace and prosperity. But I want to go to the sixth density. I can't believe I'm not close enough, It's all the same cycle. Right, Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah, and, I look back on some of my previous lifetimes like you talk about, and there were times where, like you're talking about, we could have ascended there were groups that we were with, that I was, and probably you as well, were with, and it was like, okay, it's time to ascend. And I was like, what? We're going to ascend? There's still work to do here. It's like, so some of us have stuck around to do more work, not only on ourselves, but to help others. And I think that's one of the things that, like you said, how you treat others makes a difference. You want to make the most impact you can in this reality. You want to leave wherever you are at or whatever you're doing a better place for you having been there. And that's kind of the thing that when I was in the SEAL teams, that's what we always used to say, and it's carried over into every aspect of what I do now. And it's tough to see other people that you look up to, that you start to realize that they don't have that same mentality. They're in it for themselves. They don't care about the rest of everybody else. That's part of an awakening process that we go through, and it could be not only people we work with, but also friends and relatives and so forth. They don't have that same mentality. I don't get hooked by it as I used to. I used to be it's such a consternation why it was like that, but it is, like we talked about, it is their particular reality that they're going through. And so I don't get stuck on that. I help the people that want to be helped, right? So, and there's a lot of them now, as we're seeing. I'm shocked at how many people are really waking up. So I think it's a fantastic time. Not everybody wakes up, and you shouldn't get stuck on that. It is what it is, and you look around, you see how evil some people are. It's like, duh, we're not going to go out of our way to help those people.
True.
We're just going to send them love and let them do their thing. And who knows, maybe they'll wake up somehow, but some of them aren't going to, I look at a Gavin Newsom or, Kathy Hochul or, you name some of the political types or business types or whatever, and that these people are extreme evil, and there is no help for them in this coming cycle to advance. Maybe they advanced in, the evil side. Maybe that's what they're all about. So, we're focused on, what we're trying to accomplish, and we're working very diligently, very hard, and having extreme success. So I'm very happy.
Well, you don't all have to be perfect, because Mike's talking about send love to those people. I send lumps. He sends love. That's just kind of where I am right now, and I'm hoping to ascend to that level.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I used to come to your events, and I would do the muscle testing. It's like, look, anger and fear is not productive. It doesn't give you energy. It makes you weak. And then I'd say, here, look at the love, and everybody's like, oh, that's amazing. And then it's like, okay, send love to Gavin Newsom. They're like, I'm not going to do that.
After you do, yeah. Well, you're a special creature who you can actually do that. Some of us got a few more thousand cycles to get to that. Well, you know what? Some of the folks here that are part of this battle, that are trying to help humanity, there are a number of you that came from higher densities, higher dimension, higher level spiritual. You came down here. You took on the responsibility and the enormous task to bring yourself to a much lower vibration. You suffered through many times. You ascended through, but yet you're here for the benefit of humanity. And it's 5 times harder on you and your soul, because you already come from the higher level of consciousness to do it. So that's truly heroic. Let's talk a little bit about the Earth-based machinations that are unfolding in the world. We look at Venezuela. We look at Greenland, the discussion on Greenland. We look at Trump. Basically, now we have the Fed chairman is under investigation by DOJ. We have the battle with silver. We have the banks manipulating the price of silver. They left themselves hung out to dry with all these naked shorts. JP Morgan silently is stockpiling silver for the last 20 years, roughly, and didn't let the banks know about it, because they were basically going to hang them out to try to save themselves, which is basically what they've done. But this whole silver situation is, in my opinion, is what is going to give the new system all the buoyancy it needs for the transition that's going to be forced on the dark powers, because just like you and I talked about, most people know that silver rocketing up. I mean, we were talking a year ago. I keep clicking on this website called, it's on apmex.com, apmex.com, and it has the second by second price of precious metals, and you can click on what's the increase in the last day, 24 hours, or 1 day, or 3 days, or 3 months, and then a year, or the year to date. And I click on that from time to time to see what the percentage growth is. Like in the year to date, I don't know, 180% in the last year. Imagine an investment anywhere on earth, and I'm not talking about an IPO, stock bullshit, manipulation, all that stuff that goes with, yeah, I just made this much. No, it was all set up. So the suckers would come in after you guys had all your, your prime stocks, and then it blows way up. I'm talking about real assets, not speculative, and investment. What has ever seen this kind of rise in such a short amount of time? Mike, I don't know of anything. And just because it's happening like this with silver, what does that tell you? The foundation is not just cracking, it's breaking apart now, finally.
Yeah, these opportunities, happen throughout time. You look at crypto, Bitcoin. A lot of people didn't realize Bitcoin was going to be as successful as it was. I didn't, but I did eventually get in and speculate, as I call it, on Bitcoin and some of the other like Dogecoin and many others, and made a ton of money on them because I was guided. I think that you listen to source, and it guides you to help you. I needed the help during some of those time frames, and it came through. When I saw President Trump, I come down the escalator with Melania. I'd followed him for decades, and I was like, he's going to be the next president. And I went into the betting, online betting for Trump, and the odds were really against him, so you could make a lot of money. And I was like, I'm going to make a lot of money on this. I just know he's going to make it. So I did. And I needed that money at the time. I was destitute on many different levels, so it helped me. So I think there's many different things that can help us go forward. Now, silver, we have been promoting silver for years now. We both, have Dr. Kirk Elliott. He's helped us. He's guided us. He's given us great insights. He's helped a lot of people in our communities. And that has been tremendous. I know it has been for you and myself as well, and for a lot of our listeners. It is still in the beginning stages, just like Bitcoin, like I'm talking about. If you'd gotten in Bitcoin back when it was like $5, $10, imagine. It was up to 150,000 or something per coin at one point, or 125,000.
Yeah, 125, 128.
Yeah, 120. I think it just crossed 126. I actually predicted it would go to 125, and it did. So the next cycle of Bitcoin will be spectacular, but I think there's going to be a pullback in that. But regardless, silver, like we have been saying, is a multi-generational opportunity. We want people to be successful. God wants people to be successful. And you're going to be guided to, where you're going to make the greatest success. And maybe you have come to our shows and you have seen, us talking about this, and you felt, I'm going to get into that too. And many of you out there now are extremely happy about that. There's still opportunity. It's still going to continue to grow. Now, I believe that silver, because it's in such high demand, is going to become what I call unobtainium on the physical level. I think Dr. Kirk and his team will continue for an extended period of time to be able to supply silver within the depository. But I think there is a strong possibility that even that will dry up. So the other aspect that you could get into, which I've been telling my communities, is to get into the ETFs. So the ETFs online, I do SIL and SILJ, and I'm into GDX, which is gold, and GDXJ juniors. They have done exceptionally well for me. And it's diversification. So not only am I massively in the depository. I have physical silver, platinum, and gold. Not as much. So you people that are listening want to rob me. That would not be very smart. But
Take his
most
word
of
for
it.
Yeah.
So if I had all of it on me, I would have people from all over the world, criminals from all over the world coming. But fortunately, it's in a depository, which is super safe and also insured. So that's where I recommend a lot of people go. You should have physical silver. You should have, and if you can't afford, and you have IRAs and so forth, they should be on a certain percentage. And a lot of companies now are recommending finally that you should have at least 25% of your portfolio into precious metals. I would say higher, but that's up to you. You have to make those decisions. But another option, like I'm talking about, is the ETFs, electronically traded funds. So you can go online. I use Robinhood. There's many different ones. I've used E-Trade in the past. There's many different ones out there. And diversify into ETFs that are into silver and gold. And I think those going forward, so I'm looking at them right now. Silver actually pulled back today, and I think it was an opportunity. The banks wanted to suppress it so they can get in because they're overextended with their shorts, which all of them got into, and they were all making ridiculous amounts of money at our expense and a lot of other people's expense. But that's it's getting to the point where paper silver is no longer an option. It will be the physical silver, and that's where the market is going to collapse. And then we're going to see, the people that are actually physically holding are going to do unbelievably well. Like I said, multi-generational opportunity. I've seen this coming since I was a little boy, and I was into silver as a little boy, and then profited on the extreme run up last time. So now I've accumulated quite a bit again, and this will be one of the most amazing Bitcoin-like opportunities like has never been seen on Earth before.
True, and I don't know if I have this in my phone, but somebody sent this to me, and this was the usdebtclock.org. I've been following that for a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can find who sent that to me. That was Annapolis Bob, my former Navy guy. Anyways, if you keep watching usdebtclock.org, they put up these memes, type of memes. In fact, good. I'm gonna send this to myself so you can see it. And they keep dropping these things. They keep.
I love those.
I know. It's like, you see this stuff pop up. You're like, holy Mary, Mother of God. Yeah, and there's others. The Department of Labor website just recently, somebody alerted me to that. It was one of the podcasts. Might have been LT on And We Know. And folks, if you don't follow LT And We Know, definitely check him out. He always has some great stuff. But I'm going to show you and this is, again, these are Q drops. This is military intelligence operation that in the right places are dropping things for people who are paying attention, who want to know what's going on. Check this out. This is U.S. This sounds like a big silver promo today here. I guess we'll get to Venezuela for a few minutes before we're done in Greenland. But look at this. This is showing you, this is what these bastards have done to us with the Federal Reserve, the 13 families, the criminals, Rothschilds. Silver to dollar ratio, 1913 was $2.66 an ounce. Right now, its true value is $1,180. Take whatever you own in ounces, multiply by that. And I did that yesterday. I'm like, holy Mary, Mother of God. Now, just with what we see here in this, there's equally as many things out there that are showing us what's about to come. And again, we see this all the time. And I'm not an investment guy. I'm not the guy to listen to. I can give you the information I see and hear and get from Kirk Elliott, and everything else we're seeing. Most people are going to say, what, you've tripled your investment in 1 year from last year, $30 an ounce to 90? 1 year.
Yeah.
In fact, just in the last 2 months, from $50 to 90. Hell, it nearly doubled like in 2 months. Now, here's the thing. You say, well, shit, I missed it. You did? Look, Kirk said, he told us it's going to 120, 140 this quarter, very likely. And then he believes by the end of the year, 2026, it'll be at 200. all the pressure from the other countries valuing it much higher, obviously. Even Singapore yesterday morning has it at 101. It's going to keep going up. So I would say if it were me, this is what I would do. And I've done it. Not that I had stocks, but I got rid of stocks I had in the past. I would be moving out of anything that has to do with the markets. I'd move it all into silver because, again, I know one person I was talking to, they pulled out, they had a significant amount in silver. They pulled out, I think about half of it. Is going to pull it all out, pulled half of it out. And in the last 1 year, cost themselves a couple $1 million from that rise in silver. And it's just getting started. So anyways, Mike, let's talk Venezuela for a second. Trump, I don't know how much truth there is to it, but the word on the street out there for the last 3 days is Iran has now slaughtered 12 to 20,000 protesters, murdered them. The Republican Guard, they're killing everybody. Of course, we learn it. Trump hears it. It's like, if that's true, you kill one more protester or you hang some guy, 26-year-old, they're going to hang him. The courts had his trial because he happened to be in one of these things. They're going to hang him, tried him, boom, he's going to be hung in like a week. And they even stopped that. Trump said, anybody hangs, any more protesters killed, we're coming. That's it. We're coming in. And they stopped it all. I don't know if they're not killing protesters now, but Iran's now on notice. He even told their people, I know they're killing you. Keep going out there. Because help is on the way. Take them down. This is real. This is happening. You and I both know Khomeini's probably been taken out about 4 or 5 months ago. He's gone. Whatever puppet they have in there, they're fomenting this thing to finally kick this off. If Iran, or I should say when Iran gets their true independence back from this murderous Muslim theocracy, he's talking about it. Their wealth is going to skyrocket. Venezuela's wealth is going to skyrocket. How much do you think these nations are going to love the United States and President Trump and the others that cascade into that same aspect of global, even regional to global wealth? You think that we're going to have enemies? Everybody on the planet who's gone through this is going to love the United States, love President Trump, because we've been spilling precious blood and treasure all over the world for the benefit of other humans. You, soldiers going in there, dying left and right, horribly maimed for the benefit of humanity. Not just for our freedom. We don't, hell, you're overseas in foreign theaters. How's that really going to affect us? You're trying to help these people. So, that's what I see coming. I see this true renaissance is going to be where the world will be united. We have a couple ideas on that, but I think one of them is could be a couple things, but one of them would be, okay, how about global prosperity for everybody? How about that? How about we come in, we took their bullshit for 10 years. We've been accused of everything. They tried to put us in jail, tried to kill us, everything. But now that we've won, look what the result is. And even the leftist lunatics are going to have prosperity. What are they going to say then? What are they going to say then? How much, if their lives become immeasurably better, financially and otherwise, are they still going to protest? Those ones they need to be put in the ground. You can't fix that. I'm being facetious. But I think the Venezuela thing is going to be a key marker when that turns. I think the whole world is going to turn on its axis if President Trump foments the unenslavement of that country.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw from the Delta guys that went in and did that hit that we have technology and capabilities that blew everybody away. Right? Came in and basically turned everything off, turned out the lights, turned out the radar. We hit them with energy weapons that basically like dropped to their knees and they couldn't see straight. They bleeding out from all their orifices, and the Delta guys came in, and anyone that was a threat was gone within seconds. I trained. I've been in those situations. I've been in combat situations like that, and the level of your training is unbelievable. But on top of that, you have technology that is just like mind-boggling. And I knew that this was coming. This day was coming, and here it is. So we have the best, trained, most advanced military force on the planet at this point. Who knows? I mean, everybody's probably looking at that and going, "What else do they have?" So it's just basically, taking everybody off kilter. that thought they could, talk smack, and all the people that talk smack are like back.
Now they're calling the White House. Can I talk to Donald?
Yeah, so
they're calling
and,
the White House.
Gloria Steinbaum is not talking smack, so there's still going to be some people that will, because they don't have any other choice. They're going to go down regardless, so they're going to talk smack and they get smacked. So the FAFO is in play right now around the world. So we're talking about silver, of course. Not only silver, but the oil, and also the rare earth down in South America is very high. Greenland, which will become part of the United States, and Canada. We're going to see it's basically domino effect in Canada. We'll see one province and another province, and then eventually everybody will join. So America will move forward, and it's not going to be like we're going to dominate them like you're talking about. We're not going to come in and dominate. We're going to come in and make the world a better place. We should have make the world MW. I don't know. MW, whatever.
It could be mega. It's really simple. Mega. Make Earth great again. Mega.
There you go. Mega. Yeah, I like that. That's very good. Very perfect. And that's where we're at. Now, there's a lot of people that, of course, the demon rats, like we talked about, are not on board with any of that, because they're on board with China. We know that the Democrats have basically gone in bed with China, which is basically demonic and evil. That's the beast system that's going to be collapsed. They're part of that system that's going to be collapsed. They're part of the cartels, which are going to be collapsed. So all of that's going to happen. Lula down in Brazil is going to get collapsed out of there. The cartels in Brazil are going to go away, and the people are going to prosper. Same thing in Venezuela. The people are going to prosper like unbelievably. The silver mines that are in Venezuela will probably start to get tapped, because we're going to need that. We, the United States, and part of the rest of this growing coalition, which we're going to find, will need that silver, because China has a lot of silver, and they've done a lot of they got the rare earths, and they've done really well with that. And all the stupid stuff that people talked about before in the past with electric vehicles and solar power and all that stuff that's going to become obsolete, because the new technologies that the United States has, like we just talked about, are going to come forward, and everybody's going to want that, and everybody will prosper from that eventually. I remember talking to a guy. You might remember when the Soviet Union was really destitute. Soviet Union, not Russia. Soviet Union, and we sent them wheat so that they didn't starve.
$17 million, like a million. How much? Or $17 billion worth of grain, like every year, to keep their people from starving while our enemies try to attack us.
Now, what happened? They came in and they went after the farmers, just like the Democrat Party has gone after the farmers here in the United States, and had China come in and buy up farmland. So we know that this is a process that they go through. That happened with the Soviet Union. We could go into a long dissertation about how the Democrats did that as well. They started the Civil War, started KKK, pushed back against women for having the vote, pushed back on blacks for having the vote. That's where the KKK came in. So it's a constant thing with these guys. Even Hitler said, "God, I like the way these Democrats think. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use their stuff, because they've already done it. They got the Jim Crow laws. I'm going to use that against the Jews." So we have a group here, and I've said this for years. The Democrat Party will go away, and this is part of God's plan, right? So the demons that are running the show in a lot of these cities, we've talked about this too. Be very, very heads up. And this is part of, taking down the numbers in humanity here. We're probably going to see some of these big cities basically get destroyed. All right, you and I and Nino have talked about this, and Juan have talked about this for a long time. So I think we're on the cusp of that now. So again, the old system, the control system are collapsing. So we helped Russia with grain, and I talked to a guy several years ago that went over. There were farmers from the United States went to Russia and helped them relearn how to grow, and now Russia is very prosperous with growing. But Russia, is part of they're kind of leaning into some dark areas. Of course, they're taking down the Nazis there in Ukraine, which is a great thing. But they're starting to get big for their britches again, and they want to go big again and start to use some of that Soviet Union type thinking of conquering the world, so that they're safe. And we need to let them know that that's not going to work for you. And I think we will. There may be a little difficulty there for a little bit, but they could very conceivably connect with China, and China could make them part of them, because whether they like it or not. So who knows? And that's why Greenland has to come into play. Why Canada has to come into play. We have Alaska, which is right next to Russia. So we're going to situate ourselves so that we can master a great portion of the earth, and then we'll spread and do the Golden Dome not over United States, not only over the United States, which President Trump is saying we're going to protect America with a Golden Dome. We'll probably protect the whole world. And we'll share with the whole world, just like we did with Russia, our grain and eventually our technology and know-how, how to help them come back and recover from the starvation principle, which is what communism always does, and that's what the Democrats are communists, right?
100%.
And they're trying to they want to do the same cycle that we've seen in Venezuela and China and Vietnam. You name the country that went communist, the Soviet Union, they all did starvation, massive starvation, to basically take down the former elite and get control.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. It'd be easier to get taken out with a bullet than literally starve them to death over months and all the stuff that they put them through. No. Just being cognizant of your time in case we're out of time for you. If not, you just let me know when you need to bow out. I think, Mike, based on what you said, is how do you pacify that mindset in the world? Is, as Trump's best deal maker, continue to set up deals with people that most of the population here, because of the media, thinks are enemy, make up deals with them, set up deals with them, alliances with them. I believe Russia becomes one of our most prominent global partners when this is all done, because number one, they are a Christian nation. The Muslims, the radical Muslim world is slaughtering Christians by the hundreds of thousands as we speak. Nigeria, all over the world. I mean, 40,000 mosques, or churches burned. It's even happened in Israel. Churches being destroyed in Israel. You have the fundamentalist Israeli Jews attacking Christians, burning churches down. This is all insane. I don't care what religion you are. If your religion is God says to kill these people and force feed everybody what I believe or kill them, you're out. It's over for you. There's no discussion to have with me. No creator is worth worshiping or giving homage to that says you need to kill my children. You're my children. Go kill mother. It's such horseshit. I can't swallow it anymore. But the reality is, this guy's been protecting Christianity in his country since he took over in 1990. That's why I believe we have a lot more in common than we don't. And if there's any disagreements, it's not because of you, me, the people, or Trump. It's the political, criminal, banking, murder machine that's been going after Russia for hundreds of years because they helped us get our independence twice. And they hate them and they want to wipe them out. So I think that becomes a very strong military, eventual, and trading partner. Again, when you prosper the entire planet, what the hell's there to fight about? What's there to fight about? Nothing.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yeah. It's done. It's over.
Utopia. Yeah. Let's have fun and, have the means to go visit people worldwide. I'm going to live with you for a week.
Show me how concept, you live. Right?
Yeah, that's why when we first started Patriot Street Fighter, I was trying to create what I called the Global Unity Bridge, where we had a massive influx of people. Everything blew up too fast. I had no clue what was happening, and I didn't have the infrastructure built. But I was going to make Zoom PAL partners where people could come in through this database, pick somebody in Norway from America, or somebody in China wants to connect with somebody in Australia. Every week or every month, we do a Zoom with your whole family. Tell us about what are you drinking? What do you guys eat? What do you do for fun? all that cool stuff that where you don't have to travel to learn about it. You could do, we may still do it, but you can do it right from your seat and make friendships over there in other places with people. And the reason I thought that was important at the time 5 years ago, because the media wouldn't tell us what's going on in their country. But if we're talking to them live through these relationships, then you could then take that information from them and spread it out, you know, in hyperspace and get the information out so their criminal governments can't suppress that kind of information. But I think the beauty of it all will be we're going to really want to know each other. At that point, we're going to want to know about, I'd love to go to Mongolia. I'd love to see their culture and how they dress and how they live. That's like one of my bucket list things to do, but you can't do that when you don't have the means. We're going to have those means. We're going to have the means to do just about anything you can dream up on the planet. That's where we're headed.
Yes.
There's going to be some crashes happening around us, no doubt. But that's in my opinion, that's exactly where we're headed.
I completely support that, and that I strongly believe that's going to happen as well. I just hope I survive to that point, because, you know, they don't like us too much, and they try and take us down. They've done that. They've attempted that quite a few times. We're protected to a great extent.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, me and my lovely wife, we wake up, you know, she talked about this as well today. Sometimes we wake up and it's like, oh, damn. Like, and then we're like, oh yeah, we're here to like help people. And so we're going to stay focused. But it is a tough time. It's a tough, you know, world that we're in, but there is that, other side of this, you know, going through like I talked about, you know, going through the SEAL training, you know, you go through that, and on the other side of it is something, you know, extraordinary you find about yourself, and you're able to do different things. You're able to travel and see other people. That's what's coming. Just like you described, there will be a certain level of, I think, payment for people. You know, everyone will have a certain income level. And of course, if you want to get involved and do other things, kind of like what we're doing here, then you're going to, you know, make a little bit more income, and you can do other things with that income, because that's why you're going to get it, because you're contributing and helping other people. But there will be a basic income that's going to be substantial. People that are, you know, working, going through school and so forth, and to get out and they're, you know, waiting tables for years after they've gotten degrees, that bullshit is going to end. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have, people are going to learn how to do different skills that will give them incredible amounts of money. You know, multi-millionaires over a period of time, rather than, you know, just basically surviving on Social Security if you're lucky, in a apartment someplace. So a lot of seniors are like, that's so tragic. So I think that, you know, we're going to turn a lot of that around. A lot of those people that are in those positions are going to be, you know, very, very healthy, very wealthy, and be able to do the things that they always wanted to do. And they will live, you know, healthy lives for as long as they want to live, really, I think. And I think everybody's going to want to live a long time, because it's going to be a beautiful, incredible planet. And of course, there'll be travel to other, you know, planets within our solar system, and even other solar systems outside of ours.
Yeah, getting to experience that, meeting new humanoid species. I mean, just imagine what that could be like when that first happens here, and it's going to happen here on this planet. What I would say to all that, that's the beauty of the other side. But folks, I'm just going to tell you, they're going to put up a hell of a battle, hell of a fight, no doubt. They have to. And I would say in that, you know, we all want to survive that. I've said this for the last 3 years since we started promoting tactical civics, and connected with John Lazort recently, who was the one that wrote the book on the militia from the constitutional historical side. Expert on that. Talked to him too. One of the more important things, I believe, is that aspect of the movement. Not that they're your rank ordering it, but the simple fact is we got an issue on our backs right now, and the way to address it is have that mindset of like I said before, a militia, your local volunteer fire department. There's a militia. That's what a militia is and does. That's why you see National Guard out there and Marines helping people in catastrophic earthquake situations and tsunamis, because that's part of the responsibility. And what we need to do to make sure we survive this in your communities You need to get to know the people in your own backyard, talk to them, ex-military guys, whatever, and just come up with a local community neighborhood strategy. If this shit starts in your neighborhood, Mike will tell you better than anybody, panic is the most lethal enemy you've got when that stuff starts. If you've prepared in thought or maybe action before, it's secondhand nature. Boom, it's happening. You know what to do. Let's go. And everybody starts getting in position with no delay, no fear. You got a job to do. You got yours. Everybody do your job and you protect the community. I think that's the most critical message you can take from today. Yes, there's a beautiful backside to this. Not everybody's going to get to be part of it. If you want to be, you got to protect your communities and neighborhoods for what they're going to throw at us.
Yeah.
So that's just something I think everybody needs to hear. And don't sit back saying, it's going to be great, let's just wait for it. No. Did Christ wait for the planet to change without his sacrifice? No. What did he do? He took on the most powerful machine on the planet at that time, the religious order, who could even get the Romans to do what they wanted them to do. How do you think he ended up getting killed? Right? So the Romans weren't going to kill Christ. Right? They weren't going to do the bidding of these criminals back then, but they did. They said, we need him crucified. Okay, the Romans took care of it. Right? So what did he do? He knew the price and he paid it. You're not going to pay that price. Just do something.
Absolutely. And that's you're looking at the demonic forces that basically went into Rome and started to manipulate Rome. It was a great culture, great society, looked after its people, grew the society for most of the known world at the time. Mm-hmm. But there was a group that came in and basically through monetary means, of course, controlled it, just like we're seeing with some of these monetary sources around the world, whether they're the Khazarian mafia or the Chinese. So a lot of different demonic forces that are working in conjunction with each other to a certain extent to basically take down America. And America is the last bastion. It's not going to work, right? So we're already starting to branch out and take down all the demonic forces around the world, and there are a lot of countries that are involved in this. So I think over the last 4 years during the Biden administration, these forces started to work together and get the game plan of how we were all going to move forward to take down this worldwide cabal. So we're in that process right now.
Yeah. Well, I saw this video recently, like within the last week. A guy was explaining what contributed to Rome's fall. And that was, they allowed, I think the name of the tribe was like Geth or Gath, Gaethe, something like that. And they were a different religion, just like the Muslim invasion we're having. And the Muslim religion, I don't care if you call it a religion, it's a civilization, it's a political ideology, it's not a religion. They allowed that type of people to come into the country. And what did they do? They bred fast. They let an invasion of these people come in out of the compassion. And then they started to put pressure on the legislative bodies. Eventually, they would get out. They would get into conflict. And basically, what the emperor would do is he would acquiesce to him. He kept acquiescing so much that eventually it was too late. There were too many of them, and that's what helped cause the Roman Empire to fall. It happened in other countries, and if you look at Turkey, once a Christian nation, Syria, Yemen, Egypt, other countries, Christian nations, how did they change? They allowed them to come in, and what do they always do? They breed their way into the apparatus, and then they take out when they have enough power through the ballot box. Then they start, it's happening with Somalia. That's why you got Dearborn, you have Minneapolis, they got Somali representatives. There's this one guy from India. This guy is like one of the dumbest people in Congress. He's actually filing impeachment charges against, I think, Christy Noem right now. Folks, these people have IQs below 100, like 80 and below. They're coming in here, they're creating this chaos, and then when you don't acquiesce to the numbers that they use during the ballot box, then they bring the violence. And it's happened in every country that's a Muslim country right now, the major Muslim countries. It's happened to each one of those. again, if it was a legitimate religion, it's not focused on killing people that don't believe what they believe. Even in Judaism, same thing. Read the Talmud. It's in there too. Kill the non-believers. Are you kidding me? And yet we're supporting countries like this? Why? So that being said, that's the battlefront I see emerging. That's going to be the most important one. We got to shut down these mosques. There's 70 something here in the North Texas area. 76 mosques where there are no Muslims. They set them up and they bring them in. They have 8 kids. They get on the welfare system, all this bullshit. And we sit back in Texas, let this stuff happen. So that's coming here. That's a battle. I'll have John Guindolo on next Monday night talking about this FBI counterterrorism. 20 years been trying to tell D.C. we got a massive problem. He's been for the last decade at least going around the country speaking to communities and having them adopt his plan for securing their communities and neighborhoods and counties and pushing out this attempted Muslim takeover. I feel terrible talking about a religion and banging away on a religion. It's not a religion. And this is coming from an imam that I think I told you this once, Laura Logan. I was with her about 6 weeks ago at an event in Dallas here. She was telling me when she was in the Middle East, mentioned among these clerics, the religion of Islam. And she said, they started laughing amongst themselves. She's like, what are you laughing at? She goes, what are you laughing at? And one of the imams says, Islam's not a religion. It's a civilization. I'm like, whoa. Talk about a stark reality being presented right to you from the people themselves who are trying to make this happen. So that's where we got a battlefront. That's certainly a big part of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so President Trump is, he's calling for a potential insurrection act in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. I think eventually we're going to see that in a lot of these big blue cities and maybe even states. It won't be around the world or around the country like you talked about, but there will be a push, I think, in certain communities. Now, we look at the map, and pretty much the entire United States is red, conservatives, good values, Christian, on and on and on. And you have these big cities, basically the blue cities, which are controlling a lot of our country. That's going to end. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in the Middle East. Muslims don't work well with others. They're definitely a problem. I can't, I hate to bash on a religion, but I don't see it that way. I see it as basically another demonic group that has been infiltrated, or a group that's been infiltrated by demonic forces. So, and there's people that have looked at that, spiritually and on certain levels, and that's what they saw as well. That is basically a compromised religion. So we have to have to push them out. We have to stop it. Like you said, now you look at, like you talked about Rome. They had basically like the plague had come into Rome and had killed a lot of people. So that, like you're talking about, they brought in these other groups because they couldn't do everything. There's and that's what they did. They tried to do that with us. They tried to do that in Europe, but the death rates weren't as high as I think. One of the reasons why is because a lot of us got, we pushed back to a point and we stopped them. Remember where they were talking about how we're going to start to come into houses and vaccinate those, and we said, you come, you die, and they're like backed off. They stopped. That stopped it. That's what stopped it. Mm-hmm. So, and then we're like, okay, this is how you cure yourself. This is how you take these supplements and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of us have been pushing that for a long time. A lot of people have survived, and now they can't push their agenda. So we've stopped out their agenda, and now they're trying to force it in a lot of ways. Oh, you're just, you're so evil because you won't let these people come in. We even let that happen for a period of time. We're like, you're racist if you don't let these people come in. And it's like, people are like, oh yeah, maybe. And now we're at the point where like, screw that. They're out. The Trump administration, that's why they're there. That's why people came out and voted for him. We haven't seen that type of voting since Reagan. Yeah. And we haven't seen this type of president since Reagan. We've had compromised presidents all the way since Reagan up to President Trump. So he's pushing back. He's getting rid of a lot of these people. 6,000 a day is one account that I heard. They're like, shipping them out, flying them out, however they're getting them out. But they're getting, that number has to increase by about tenfold. Mm-hmm. I think it will. But in the meantime, we're going to have some problems. We're going to have to probably do Insurrection Act in some of these communities, and they'll push out from those and try and intimidate or even cause problems in communities around them. And like you said, we have to stand up. We have to push back. We have to push them back into their little enclaves, and then the Marines come in and basically crush them. So,
and they will, won't they, Mike? They'll just crush them because
I've seen the Marines have crushed the Muslim, Islamic baddies all over the world, man. I love the Marines. They're incredible.
Well, I think once they start dropping bodies, that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, you think a beanbag to the eye that takes out this kid that. How stupid do you have to be in this climate when one girl gave up her life for their ideology, hitting that guy and shot her in the head, kills her. Now, this other clown, I mean, look, again, he's got black fingernail paint on and all that crazy bullshit. And so these guys are MTPs and they're running up to challenge these guys. He hits him like from here to here with a pepper ball, whatever, and it takes his eye out. Again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Do I have sympathy for these people? I'm sorry, I don't. I do not. They're telling you to your face, and then when you push so far, there's a casualty. There's a casualty. Because they've had casualties on the other side like crazy. The media doesn't print it. Nobody says anything. Nobody knew this guy was drugged 30 feet by another car that hit him, and they put a gash in his leg. They had to stitch up. Now he's got internal bleeding from this attack. Yep. You don't know all this stuff. So the reality is, if they set the Insurrection Act happens and they send active duty military, they're going to be putting bodies down. They're going to be killing these people because, and again, I have no sympathy for them. Q said, when that begins, the response is going to be so definitive of how they handle this that nobody will ever try to do what they've done here again. In fact, the whole world. If you want to be an enemy combatant and you want to take on U.S. military forces urban in these cities and streets, have at it. Whatever happens is on you. It's not on soldiers. They're coming in to do a job, and if you want to get in the way of them doing a job, you're going to get what you deserve.
Yeah, and there's the fraud that they've discovered in Minneapolis. They're starting to discover that in California, and it's on a level that's like 100 times more. And I've said that we're going to see $1 trillion worth of fraud in California easily. It'll probably be the worst of the group, but we're going to see it in a lot of these states. We'll see it in New York. We'll see it in Illinois, and some of the other, states, Missouri, and some of these other states that have a really, really bad, infestation of these Democrats in Muslim communities, like the Somalis, which are basically just inbred, pirates. That they've allowed to come in because they know that they could puppet them. So these puppets, these inbred puppets are basically going to be being exposed, and it needs to happen very quickly. And that's what we talked about how in the beginning of the show. It's every 5 minutes you need to look and see what's new, because the reveals are going to be coming so fast and so heavy that it's going to make your head spin. It makes my head spin sometimes. And I'm used to this kind of stuff on a fast level. So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see, and it has to happen that way so we can catch more of them, and so they can be exposed.
Yeah, and Mike, I think Congress needs to pass a law that anybody is walking around the streets in protest carrying their country's flag that they came from, they need to be deported. If you want to support the country that you ran from to come to Utopia, and you want to promote them like Ilhan Omar, the incestual wife of her brother, to get here, saying that I'm here to serve Somalia, she's gone. They're just waiting for the right time to ship her ass back. But any of these protesters carrying Mexican flags, all that, they should round them up. No excuses. Put them back on a plane. Great. We're sending you to the country with which the flag that you're carrying. If you believe so much in that, you want to carry that flag in the greatest country of the world that's given you homage here or giving you a place to live, then you're gone. If there's no loyalty to this country, I don't give a shit anymore. They need to go. Yeah, go back to where you came from if that flag's that important to you, because that flag represents obviously oppression. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Mexico. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to Mexico now that these cartels have been designated terrorist groups now? Active operations are probably already going on in Mexico, is my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, they've been ongoing for a while, I believe, and eventually that's going to become widespread, knowledgeable. I think the hammer is really going to come down on those cartels, and Claudia Sheinbaum is probably going to go somewhere else. She's going to get the same "you can leave" like we offered to Maduro. You saw what happened to him. Would you like to leave, or would you like to get swooped up?
Free ride. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she'll take the free ride, and someone else that's deserving, that has great merit and wants to help the people of Mexico will be inserted. This is going to happen around the world in every country eventually, and we're going to continue to see these criminal Democrats are going to continue to point the fingers. We're used to it now. They used to say that we're Nazis and blah 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 blah. And now I'm looking at something that just popped while we're talking. An activist teacher in Washington State who claimed Republicans are pedophiles is now charged with child molestation. So this is what's going to start to really take extreme. It's going to start to come out fast and heavy, and then people are going to stop supporting these groups, because there's still some people that support these groups, and then they're going to get isolated, and then their last bastion of brainwashed liberal idiots are going to continue to support them, because like you said, they have they're idiots, literally idiots, and they're not going to know the difference, and they're going to die probably on a pretty significant level, because they're going to fight. They'll fight. They'll have guns. You can't. I've been around the world, and you can't go, okay, these people are stupid, they're not going to be good fighters. No, they can be good fighters, because we've had a lot of people that have been trained by our military, and some of them are our military that will get involved with these people. And so don't discount what these people can do. All right, they're going to go violent. We've already seen some of their violence. They've been holding back. I promise you, they've been holding back, and they want to unleash on us, just like we want to unleash on them. But our unleash is God-driven, and it will win. It will prevail, and it's going to be a duke out, knock down, drag out. We're going to be rock'em sock'em robots for a little bit, but we will prevail, and we will have probably some destroyed cities. But that's the price of having let these people, stay for as long as they have. Yeah. I did a show yesterday where I basically just spelled it out. I think about well over an hour, where I went all the way back to the Revolutionary War, and how even back then we had these groups, the Loyalist, that controlled New York and drove out the Patriot Army. So we're like, okay. We're just going to burn New York when we leave, and that's what we did. So now New York is just a bastion, has been since then, of problems. For every war has been a problem, and that's going to continue until we start to wake up and say, okay, enough of this bullshit. Let's clean it up. And I didn't have a lot of views on that. I just revealed like crazy. Maybe it will eventually, but people don't want to hear it. They still don't want to hear it. Scott, I'm really frustrated, but hopefully this show will get out there, because we're basically doing the same thing in this show. We're like, we're taking off the gloves and we're like punching hard. Yeah. So hopefully people are like, yeah, thanks guys, knock the hell out of them, knock the hell out of the lies, and let the truth come forward. That's what we're doing. We can only hope that people are open to this. And I think for, this period of time, there's more people that are open to it than at any point, but still it's a small number for me.
Yeah, way too small. I think there's a trigger point where it gets to be so bad before that insurrection act or active duty forces are on the ground, right? But I can tell you this, my full 100% belief is their response is going to be so effing devastating that the shit's going to it's going to happen fast, and it's going to be brutal. They're not fucking around. And Trump, how many presidents have used the Insurrection Act for the last 40 years? Most all of them, right up to the last one was Bush Jr., Bush Sr. used it. I think Clinton used it. I don't know if Obama did, but now this is putting down unrest in a city. This is putting down a satanic order that's worldwide, and they're going to teach this when it happens here. It's going to be such a brutal lesson. You'd have to be dumber than a shithouse rat to go running into that environment after you see what the results are going to be when military goes after it. They're going to be brutal, and no crybabies out there. If you know what's coming and you say, I'm going to walk up there like a badass at the front, and I'm going to boom. Somebody get a box. Who's next? That's what's going to happen. There's not going to be any restraint with these guys when it starts, because you're talking an active duty operation among going after enemy combatants on U.S. soil, disguised as anything but an enemy combatant. They'll watch the actions of them. And look, if you want to be a Democrat in these cities and become supportive of that they're trying to take out, you are now classified as an enemy combatant. You are aggressive, you're going to go down. And you're probably not going to get up again.
Yeah. And the military action that we just saw down in Venezuela, that was over the top and was staggering in its capabilities, is going to get unleashed on some of these towns. And there will be people that drop to their knees from the sonic booms that are going to be coming in for them. Maybe they have some high tech stuff, because there's a lot of really smart Democrats out there that have high tech, where their drones will be dropped in place. Their technology, whatever it is they're using, will be scoped out very quickly and made obsolete. All the different things that they have in store, they think they're going to be able to, really rock us. They're going to get. It's not going to work, and I hope it gets. I hope there's real good examples like we're talking about very early on, and they just we're not going to be able to do this, and some of them will go ahead and do it because they don't have any other choice, because they know we're going to wrap them up and they're going to be, get the necktie. So they're just going to push and push and push to the end.
Well, the sad thing for the people is this. You know how kings were made, kings of old were made, folks? In battle. They led the charge. They were on horseback. They had their sword. They were fighting those forces themselves, and they've showed everybody in battle why they deserve to be the leader. What do you see in this country? All you people that are used as cannon fodder and sheep for these criminals, they never, ever, ever come out into the open and face the same danger, because they think you're stupid enough. They call you useless feeders and sheep for a reason, because they know they incite the anger. You'll go out there and do that bidding. You'll take the pepper ball to the eye. You'll take a bullet to the head. They know that, and they pump you up to do it. And they are always behind their safety net. They've got ivory towers to hide in. They're cowards. You've seen what they do when they get in a courtroom, when they're prosecuted for a crime. They lie through the whole period of time where they're going to be tried. And then when they're convicted in court, they bawl down. They break down bawling like little schoolgirls, pussies, begging for forgiveness. That's who you guys are following. You go out there to get in front of these government agents trying to push up on them. They think you're stupid. So think it through. Think it through. They'll
Jacob
never.
Fry, Tim Walz, they're not out there.
No,
they're fomenting all this. Yeah.
Yep. They're all cowards
absolutely.
and pussies. They're all cowards and pussies. They get everybody else to do their bidding. So you protect them in their station in life and their wealth and their privilege. That's why they're using you people to do it. They want to protect their station in life while yours sucks, but they convince you to go take bullets for them. Doesn't make any sense. But either way, they lose, we win. You want to make sure you're alive for this one, folks. Take Mike's advice all the way around, because you want to be on the other side when that sky parts and that sun comes out for the world we've all been expecting to come and that our Creator set up for us in the first place. So, hey, Mike, it's always great. Thanks for taking the time today. I know you do lots of shows every day, so throwing one more at you today and you accepting was a privilege. So thanks for taking the time.
It's always a privilege and honor to come on and speak with you, my brother. And, like I said, we have the same ideas about these things, and it's great to hear it from you like this. And great conversation today. So thanks so much.
Always. Ladies and gentlemen, once again with my brother Mike Jaco, the Intuitive Warrior. I'll say on behalf of him, and here he comes already. Here comes Tomahawk. I will say, ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Street Fighter out. You want to say hi? There he is. He's up to say hi.
Hey, Tomahawk.
You remember Mike? Can you see Mike? You remember Mike? You remember Mike? No? Okay.
I'll come see you again. You'll remember me.
He's all better now.
You'll smell me and know me right away.
He'll know you as soon as you walk up to the door. Yep, he'll know. Hey, he's like, hey, there's the other Navy SEAL. Come on in, Mike.
Exactly. All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
Much love, buddy. You guys have a great day.
Much love.
Bye-bye.